25th, 2011, and this is day 9 daily number 350. I've done 350 of these. In 15 days, I will have one daily for every day of the year. And then I should just stop, and it should be a loop every single year. And they just go, he gets smarter and smarter the closer it gets to Christmas. That is weird. 350, holy crap. And you know, in celebration of the fact that we did 350 in a row, I wanted to go back and do something a little old school today. I wanted to just grab a game of two really good players, one of my favorites in particular, HuK, and just analyze the game. Kind of like I used to in the good old Brood War days. I would open up a Pro Max, just do the overlay commentary on it, talk about whatever I saw, and that was that. Going to be doing something like that, so I'm pretty excited. I wonder if there's anything else noteworthy that the world needs to know. Oh yeah, I was telling everyone before I went live about the hair. Yeah, you know what I put in it? Advice from the hairdresser, just conditioner. Not like conditioner in the shower, I've done that for years, and it was still all frizzy and terrible. She was just like, just put conditioner in your hair after you get out. It's so easy. Ugh, yeah. Of course, that's the obvious thing. I'm going to be streaming Diablo 3 later tonight. I need to take a brief break after the daily because I have some work that I need to do. And then I'll be streaming D3 tonight. Yeah. So I guess that's all the things there are to know. So let's go ahead and pop into this game. And, you know, interestingly, I've been keeping the sound on. Whoa, hey, awesome. And it looks like this person's name is Ryan. Now, I downloaded this game. Oh, gosh, how embarrassing. Look at me. I was playing Mono Battles this morning, and I still have it on Mono Battles settings, so I think everything should be okay. Oops. How embarrassing. Control groups, normal. Yeah, because I want to be able to see what the control group... Yeah, alright, cool. We are off Mono Battles mode officially. Officiellement. But, you know, I've been doing some variety of things with content. You know, for instance, I'll just focus on, like, Protoss's point of view and talk about, oh, look at what he's doing. This is so good. This is so great. This is how you do it, too. You know, or I'll do one of these things where, like, every 5 minutes I'll swap between their viewpoints. Like, just do Rain and then just do HuK for a little while. But there's something so baller and resoundingly boner Amanda about just looking at a game and saying, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. So we're just going to do that. That's how we did it. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. And I'm also not wearing headphones today, so if you hear an echo of the game sounds, it's because my mic is picking it up. I didn't really want to wear any sort of headset because if you look this good, if you look like this with conditioner in your hair, why put in headphones to make my head look more round than it is? I don't want to be like the Napster logo guy. I want to be day 9, where you learn to be a better gamer. So HuK is just going to go ahead and chrono boost away. You know, a good rule of thumb, actually this is something I don't think I've ever talked about. If you send the scout probe off after you build your pylon, build a gateway on 14 and your gas on 15. If you scout after you build the gateway on 13 and the gas on 14. Very simple rule of thumb. Very simple rule of thumb. Guys, it's a simple rule of thumb. I don't know why I said it twice. Sometimes I repeat myself, and I have no justification for it. So as we return back to the daily, we see Rain. Okay, so he looks like he's already going for the no gas play. And, you know, I've started to mentally do some really strong partitioning in my head of this matchup, right? Like, so let me... hell, I'm going to come back to the camera. So, like, I feel like there are little teensy partitions that people do, where they'll say something like, let's just grab 2. They'll say to themselves, is he going to be going Banshee with Cloak? Is he going to be going, I don't know, 3 Rax Marine? And so in both of them, if I'm Protoss, I'm going to be opening up and getting some gateway units and getting an observer, because these are the 2 possibilities. I need the observer for the Cloak Banshee, I need the units for the Marines, right? So and what happens is you tend to do this thing where it's like, until you know what each thing is, you kind of tend to go down the same path, and then you'll veer And I want to emphasize that word veer. You'll veer off in one direction. So let's say you discover that he's going for a 3 racks push. You'll veer in the direction of making more units and less observers and expanding later. Or you'll veer in the direction of, if he's going Banshee, of making more observers, making more stalkers, maybe expanding a little earlier. You do some veering, right? Veering. But what I'm talking about is like huge different strategies, almost the same way that you treat different matchups, where you'll say in Protoss versus Zerg, this is the unit mix I want to, and in Protoss versus Terran, I'm going for this entirely different unit mix, right? I've started to really do that hyper strongly, and I've started to say sentences to myself like, I am really good at a Terran player who is going for a no gas early expand, and I have a lot of trouble with Terrans who don't do that, and starting to have really wildly different builds. If he ends up going for a really fast expand, I'm going Warp Prism. I might be trying to get some Blink Stalkers to harass up on his high ground while he's doing that. I'm going to be expanding a lot more. And I treat it like an entirely different matchup. And the reason I bring that up is that I don't want you to veer. I don't want you to say, well, I'm going to be going 2-gate Robo Expand, period. And if he goes for an early expand, well, I guess I'll get my Colossus a little later. And if he does not early expand, I guess I'll get my Colossus a little earlier. Those two are a little bit too similar. And the way that Rain's style is going to play out is going to be two completely different chunks. So I've started to just absolutely go off in some zany-ass direction. And whenever I start to feel myself getting really good at one thing, like really good at the early expand, really good at killing early expands, but really bad at really bad at, say, other sorts of one-base play, other sorts of aggressive play. The part where I'm losing, what I do now is say, wow, I need to go off in some even crazier direction. I need to do something even more completely different. The mistake is to try to think, well, what way can I play that deals with both well? No, just have two completely different crazy-ass things. Yeah. Alright, so Rain's doing everything just like normal. Dull, boring, speeding things up. Everything is as it should be. And I like this transition choice by HuK. We actually don't have a Zealot out. If you see someone and you're pretty sure they're not going gas, I say skip the Zealot, Chrono Boost the Stalker, and put pressure on right away. If he is going for a fast gas, and you can't really tell if he's building a tech lab or not, I think you kind of need to build the Zealot, just because like one Barracks Marauder pushes can just deal ridiculous amounts of damage. Again, that's a little bit of an adjustment. Not one of the big ones I was talking about earlier. So here's a theory that I've been working on. Protoss should not be spending time building units out of gateways. They should be spending time building more gateways. A lot of times it's easy to go into the, I have 3 gateways, and I will be producing out of them nonstop. I'm going to treat them like barracks. But they work in that fundamentally different way from a barracks, right? In that, let's say I haven't been building out of my barracks for 5 minutes, and all of a sudden I see an attack coming, and I have 5 barracks. I go, oh crap, A. I hit A 5 times, all right? I can't say it the same number of times, right? I hit A 5 times, and then I have to wait for those Marines to build, and then they'll pop out, maybe in time for the attack. Protoss, on the other hand, let's say you haven't been producing anything, and then you see an attack, you go, oh my god, he's coming. Warp in a line of units instantly, and then, right as he's getting to your base, you get a whole nother warp in. So that's the sort of logic that I'm working with. Why am I building units out of gateways constantly when I could be adding on more gateways and exploiting these broad, sweeping warp-ins for defense later? And obviously, this means that against a more aggressive player, you'll stop at like 3, 4, 5 gateways, make enough units to defend it, and proceed as normal. But against a really passive macro player, you'll be getting up like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 gateways. And all of a sudden, you have ridiculous macro potential in line with the number of units, the number of expansions that you have. HuK doing everything smart. Wow, look at this. There's a lot of sentries being produced here. And it looks like Rain's doing kind of a Korean-esque style early expand. I'm really interested by these kind of things where I'm actually, I was talking more about HuK. I actually want to rewind and see when he ended up building these guys. Because this, actually, I feel I make this mistake a lot. I'm trying to do it less, which is that I know what I want to go for, and I try to go there too quickly. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to select... actually, I just want you to keep your eyes up on production, and I'm pretty sure Rain doesn't miss an SCV. So, for instance, right about in just a moment, I would be building both my refineries as quickly as possible. Like, right here is where generally the refineries pop down. Yep, right as you have 150. But I want to see, does Rain, he should be still producing Marines out of all these barracks. He shouldn't be going for any sort of huge sacrifice. He's going to wait, it looks like, a little bit while he's waiting for his command center to finish so that he doesn't end up spending that money on an extra supply depot he doesn't need to. But I really do have a tendency to freak out and try to get these tech labs up and this reactor up as fast as humanly possible. I know everything I want to do, but trying to slow it down and just say make sure you don't miss SCVs, make sure you're transferring, make sure you're not forgetting supply depots, and it will feel slow and choppy and gross, but it will be coming out stronger overall. Perhaps not quite as fast, but the extra 30 seconds you have to wait, oh, you got owned. The extra 30 seconds that you'll have to wait will be well worth it. But yeah, he's going for the reactor and the tech lab, and this is a more aggressive variant. Actually, in a lot of circumstances, you're even, still making Marines out of this barracks, even though it does have the tech lab out of it. And I always feel like the biggest question, if you go early expand, and then you go 3 barracks, the big question is, what do you do when you have 100 gas? I feel like that is the key defining question. Do I spend it on a factory, which generally means I'm going fast drop? Do I spend it on an engineering bay +1 upgrade? And that to me feels very like long-term focused. Or do I spend it on stim, which to me feels like it's going to be really, really, really aggressive. So let's see here. By the way, for any of you asking about mono battles, I played those this morning on the Europe server. Haha, and it was incredibly awesome. Now, someone once said, I believe it was Oxlov, who said, early Marine Marauder pushes are fodder for my force fields. I am excited when I see someone push with a whole bunch of units early on, because I think, badoing, gonna force field them in half. Oh yeah. So I, at the very least, I would say I'm curious as to how this is going to go. And one thing that I just want to note to get all meta up on you, notice that the order I went in that, I said that there was a phrase that had stuck in my mind that, you know, it basically translated to Marine Marauder pressure is bad. Don't do Marine Marauder pressure early on. Force fields are too scary. And I'm just keeping that question in my mind. I have that statement. I'm not taking it as fact, but instead I'm questioning that statement constantly, and I'll probably never stop questioning it if it's a strong enough statement. You know, something like, always build workers. You know, okay, I'm always going to be building workers, but is there ever a circumstance where I shouldn't build workers? And right now, this moment in gameplay is one that I would emphasize, where Rain's taking it slow. Look at this. SCV's already queued. He's been building ahead on his depots. He's building a lot of Marines and Marauders. And notice he has just barely enough money to build, say, a factory or an engineering bay, and he's not. He's actually not. He's actually taking it easy. And to use the strong language, I fuck this up so bad so often. I am actually trying to just force all my builds to go more slowly. I'm just trying to work against this discomfort. Look at this. We're at the 7-minute mark. I bet you for the next minute he doesn't even add on any more interesting structures, right? There he is building his SCVs, building the supply depot, building these Marines and Marauders from out the bunker. Yeah, I mean, like, still really not doing anything. And now we have a Ghost Academy plopping down. And there has really been, for probably 45 seconds to a minute, no attempt to really do much else except add on a somewhat cheap tech lab. And right now, Rain is just taking control of the center. That really excites me. That really, really excites me how slow he's taking it. I would take this force, try to manage, control it a little bit, but also just knock down these destructible rocks a good chunk. So HuK, I think, is doing a smart thing of getting the Immortal up. Yeah, you see a huge amount of Marines and Marauders. You're going to have to put your play on hold a little bit. And, I'm starting to like what Rain's doing more and more. You know, like, in a sense, people have been doing ghost pushes just kind of a lot anyways. But you'll see most of the people sit here with bunkers, get ghosts, and then move out. The structure of Rain's play was to move out early, and then right now HuK's in the dark, so HuK's in like panic mode. Oh my god, am I going to get enough units to stay alive? And now, this force of units that he's making is going to be a little more vulnerable to the ghosts. A lot of sentries, a lot of, immortals, this kind of thing. It seems like a step up from the old version of that Ghost Push. And it looks like, oh no, he's not going to have enough energy. Okay, well that just sucks. That's just like the most horrible feeling thing in the known universe. And this, I think, is one thing that makes HuK like a level above a lot of other players. If you make a huge force for defense, your concern is always, well, what if he doesn't attack? So often people try to build as few units as they can to defend the attack. So that way they don't end up overproducing a defense that won't be used. But what now people are doing is they're overbuilding the defense and then just attacking with it, right? Whoa, did I make an Immortal and all these units? Well, screw that. I'm gonna go try to effing kill him. Yes. A lot of neat, nice, tidy, cute interactions. And I just love this nice decision-making by HuK. I love the decision-making by Rain. I think maybe he could have been in a slightly better position with his units and maybe pulled back and waited for the EMP, because now he feels a little boned right now. My analysis on the situation, my technical official, Day 9 is a teacher of all things StarCraft, he's boned. He's quite boned. And it looks like HuK will continue to push, try to pick off some of these units, but he'll be repelled thanks to those ghost EMPs. And of course, Rain is going to be going for the reactor starport. HuK, I would say, has just been building probes for the most part. Needs to spend his chrono boost a little more. But as we take a break, we're going to step into the mid-game, and what I am curious about is where HuK specifically is going to go from here, because I think the direction is pretty clear from our good Terran buddy. But from HuK, it's feeling a little bit like this. Feeling a little bit like this. Alright. Taking a break. Oh yeah, and by the way, for any of you wondering, this is actually not a 1.4 replay. This is not. Alright, taking a break.